Wow, wow. What a turnaround.
Yeah, quite the turnaround for this team. Yeah. Obviously, last week was just horrible. We basically just ranted all of last week's episode. Um, and then the Falcons come out and they don't look bad. And actually, they look pretty good. So as Tom Grossi said, it's the end of September, and I still don't know if we're good or not.
That's true. That's true. It's a very weird football team. I mean, we've really seen four versions of the team over these past 4 weeks. It's kind of crazy because like they haven't come out and looked the same in any week.
Mm-mm.
And it's not to say they've improved every week either or gotten worse every week. I mean, maybe weeks 2 to 3 they got worse for sure, but like as a whole, I don't think we've trended necessarily completely up or completely down.
Yeah, it's
It's weird.
I say this every week. I don't know what to make of this team, and that's somewhat expected. Um, at the beginning of a season, especially with a team like this, where we made so many like off-season gambles. Um, you know, uh, and luckily, I think the results have been obviously we're 2-2, so they've been very split. But I think most of those gambles are paying off.
Yeah, I mean, really the big gamble on defense was like rookies and kind of second year players.
They're
I think
almost
that's paying off. Yeah, I think
pretty
that's
much
paying off.
everything.
I think that's paying off
I think I saw
pretty
some.
well.
Yeah, I thought I saw something
Yeah.
today that like Rook has the highest pressure rate of like any defensive tackle.
Yeah, Rook is kind of a madman. I mean, him and Zach Harrison, they kind of look like new players. Pretty much the whole defense does as compared to last year, which is kind of crazy. Again, Jeff Ulbrich kind of deserves his flowers for what he's done with that unit. But I mean, it's kind of been it's really impressive. I mean, of course, rookies come with their ups and downs. I think week 3 against Carolina was some of those downs, but I think that entirely was more of a team thing rather than just a rookie thing. But I think as a whole, I'm impressed with the rookies, and I'm excited and very satisfied with what they're doing so far. But
Yeah,
what do you think about some of the gambles that we've made so far this season?
I mean, Jalen Walker looks better and better every week, pretty much. James Pierce has been solid. Uh, Bowman and Watts have been great. So that's the rookies. I think all of those gambles are paying off.
Oh yeah,
And
oh
then
yeah,
uh, Rook and Dorless and these second year guys, they all look good, like all of them. And it's kind of strange. I expected some of them to be good, some of them to not be so good. But honestly, the ceiling for this defense, as every week passes, gets like higher and higher for me, and the
yeah.
floor gets higher too.
It's sort of insane because if you were to tell me that Xavier Watts would have 2 interceptions by week 5 and Jesse Bates would have 0, I would not have believed you. But
Yeah,
it's insane because he looks really good. Uh, I was kind of worried midway through the Washington game that he got injured. Thankfully, he came back on the
uh,
field and made a very big impact play pretty much immediately.
yeah. I thought he
I
was
mean,
out, and then
yeah,
like all of a
me
sudden,
too.
I see him like storm onto my screen, just making plays. I was like, "Whoa, there he
That was an
is!"
impressive interception. I mean, if you look, he makes up a good amount of ground, and then to have the hands and the poise to bring in that ball is insane. And we knew
Yeah,
Marcus Mariota was going to do that, right? We as Falcon fans know that tends to like overthrow
the
balls.
king of overthrows.
Yeah, so good on him for recognizing that and bringing that ball in. That was impressive, especially after getting hit in the ribs and probably having the wind knocked out of him pretty hard.
Yeah, it was a catch you'd expect a receiver to make, but not a defensive back.
Yeah,
Not like that. It was pretty. It wasn't an easy catch. It was
no, not at
impressive.
all. It was a diving catch. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, let's talk about some offense now. So, night and day, obviously from last week.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, what a turnaround. It's insane what a week of work does. I think you know what the Carolina game was awful, but I think in a sort of funny way, it was sort of necessary because if that's what it takes to get this offense to wake up and to get a fire lit under this team, then it had to happen. And I'm
Yeah.
glad it happened.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a good reminder that like, yeah, we can like sit here and nitpick about Zach Robinson, about like what formations we're using, about the play calling. At the end of the day, it really just comes down to execution.
Yeah, yeah,
And
absolutely.
against the Panthers, we didn't execute, and against the Commanders, we did. And it was just completely night and day.
It was great execution. Michael Penix looked like a different quarterback this past Sunday against Washington. He made some great plays. He stood in that pocket when he needed to. He made plays outside of the pocket when he needed to. He looked like he had better anticipation. It looked like he was more comfortable. We weren't getting any of the play calls in with like 10 seconds left. We were getting the plays started with 15 or 12 or more time in the clock or on the clock so that the offense could catch some sort of rhythm. And that's what we saw eventually. After around the second quarter into the third, we started scoring touchdowns pretty frequently. And that was awesome to see because it just looked like the guys were more comfortable. It looked, I mean, it looked night and day different than what we saw last week. Yeah, we may have not changed like formations. We're still doing a lot of stuff out of pistol. We're not necessarily doing a lot of center work. But I mean, it worked this week. It worked this week, and like you said, they executed a lot better than they did last week. Besides the one drop from Ray McLeod, and besides that one kind of trick play that I didn't see working out too well, I even think that trick play had potential. I just think Washington snuffed it out. I think, or I know that the execution is getting a lot better every week, and so I'm excited to see what it looks like after the bye. But what have you liked about the offense as we progressed through the weeks?
Yeah, just getting everyone involved.
Yeah.
You know, we had touchdowns from London, Pitts, Bijan, and Algier. Um, I mean, I don't know. We have Drake London in the slot this game, which I don't know why he hasn't been as much as he should be, but this game he has his best game by far, and it's because he spends most of the time in the slot, and he's probably the best slot receiver in the league. Maybe at least for that size. I don't know,
Yeah, the best
but
power slot. Yeah.
yeah. Um, yeah, and then I like the play in the red zone on the Pitts touchdown where he actually
That
did
was
run play
nice.
action. Super nice. Just good play design that just worked. Um, having him actually line in at tight end, an inline tight end, um, seeing him be able to do stuff like that is really encouraging. Um, and there's just Bijan.
Oh, yeah. I
He
feel like we don't touch on Bijan a lot, but I mean, a lot of the times he's not even the one making the mistakes, and he's doing so much good work that he already gets so much attention that we kind of feel like it's
yeah
repetition to give him his due diligence. But I mean, it has to be said, like Bijan Robinson is a top two back in the league, and I would not mind saying he's not two. He again, this is a guy who seems like he can walk on water every single Sunday.
yeah, and he's doing things that pretty much no other back is doing. The way he can run routes and catch balls in those routes and then make them into explosive plays. Like no one else is doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. I mean, it's cool to have a player like that on this team. Just for the city in general too. I mean, he's like when you ask a normal NFL fan who the face of this team is, they're probably going to say it's Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
And they're definitely going to have a good idea of what he stands for just because at more than just a football player, he's just is a great person. You can just tell.
Yeah. He's that kind of player Arthur Blank loves.
Yeah.
High character, great work ethic. I mean, that's why we drafted, or at least a large part of the draft reason we drafted Jalen Walker.
Yeah.
He's just one of those guys, and Yeah, I just couldn't be any more happy. He's kind of exceeding expectations.
Which is kind of crazy.
Going in the season where he's like he's going to be the workhorse and he's might be an offensive player of the year candidate, stuff like that. If he continues on this pace, he probably will. He will win offensive player of the year. The only competition right now is probably Puka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Puka is necessarily more of a what the wide receiver position and the running back position are so different. You could definitely say Puka is the most impactful wide receiver right now, and maybe even the best. You can make an argument for the best, at least this season. But I mean, holistically, I think that Bijan Robinson is affecting this offense and has such an important role in this offense that he should be the offensive player of the year just because of how much he contributes to what this team needs to do.
Yeah, I mean, he leads us in receiving yards or
Yeah.
running back. Like that's some of that is due to like the performance of the receivers so far, minus this last game. But like, still, come on, like that's just not. There's no one else doing anything like that.
And props to Zach Robinson because I like what they're doing to get him kind of incorporated into the offense as a passing target.
Yes.
I've really liked how they've tried to put him into space and that space is able to catch balls and kind of run his way into the end zone while making guys miss. And honestly, like you could not pay me to try to tackle Bijan Robinson because I don't even know how you do that. I mean, the rate at which he just makes his cuts, the rate at which he moves, it's like he's teleporting almost. And I'm sure for the other team, it must be hell trying to bring him down.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on and on about him forever. But yeah, I mean that's just we knew going into the season he was going to be the workhorse. He is. He's doing as best a job as you could hope for doing that. And now that we're getting everyone else around him also involved, the offense has pretty much like limitless potential.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting to watch. I'm interested to see how this offense looks like as we try to spread the field more throughout the week. I know we did that this past game against Washington once with that huge throw from Penix to London, which is sort of interesting because when I think of Drake London, I don't think of deep passes, but again, he caught that very well, and that was very well schemed. A very favorable matchup too against Marshawn Lattimore. 2025 Lattimore is not what he used to be, so I'm glad Drake was able to take advantage of that. But that was a great pass. I'm excited to see how we can get guys like maybe Mooney into those actions to see how he can stretch. Hopefully he comes back better after the bye. He's kind of looked kind of shaky since coming back from injury, but also Pitts. I mean, you touched on Pitts a little bit, but Pitts, when you line him up against some of those corners or some of those dudes they have covering him, they just stand no chance. I mean, think about it. Kyle Pitts is what, six? I think he's like what, 6'4", something like that. So he's
at least
big, he's physical, and he's catching those balls over your head. There was that one play where the corner just tried to essentially hold him to keep him from catching it, and Kyle Pitts he muscled through that hold and just caught it anyways. And you can tell just through like his emotions that he's feeling it. Mm-hmm. He's like excited to be put into situations to succeed in this offense. But it's good to see because I was definitely tired of seeing Kyle Pitts be an afterthought. But it definitely seems like at least Michael Penix is purposely trying to get him involved.
Yeah, I mean, he's just been impactful. He's been more consistent than London or Mooney.
Yeah,
he might be our most consistent pass catcher so far this season, and just seeing him, on a third down where I'm looking on my screen to where Pitts is.
Yeah.
I think, oh, this could be Pitts right here to pick up this third down. I wasn't doing that in these previous seasons. I wasn't, and now I can do that, and it's super exciting.
Yeah, it's cool because you see all these teams that have these tight ends like Warren or maybe sort of like Kelsey. These kind of tight ends where you're kind of that when you need them, they're going to come through. And now I feel like Kyle Pitts is evolving to where when we need him, he's going to make a big catch. Um, it's good to see. It's good to see because they're putting him in, like I said, they're putting him in good situations, especially that one play where it was off of play action. They had him run a route downfield, and he's winning those. And he's getting put in situations where he can win his matchups, and he can do a lot of stuff for this team that the team needs him to do.
Yeah, yeah, super exciting. Just the offense in general. Speaking of that, what were some things you liked and some things you didn't like in the win over Washington?
Okay, I'll give you one of each. I really liked Michael Penix's poise and his ability to come back from that awful week 3 performance. I think a lot of guys, especially for the Falcons recently, we've had quarterbacks where they have a bad week and they can't come back from it the next week. Ritter, Mariota, but I think Penix, wow, I mean, he came back and he was poised. He was ready for it. He definitely heard the criticism. I know he did. It was kind of impossible not to. But again, he came through and even he said it. He wanted to show that he belongs, and he belongs. I mean, he belongs on this team and he belongs in the NFL. One thing I didn't necessarily like is I like this defense. I'm still a little worried about the run. Again,
Mm,
it's situational. I think that the messaging from Jeff Ulbrich and more so the team in general has been we're going to play with leads. So maybe defending against the run won't be as necessary as defending against the pass. But again, when it's a lot easier to make your offense run smoothly when you have a competent run game. And when guys can break these big runs against us, it kind of worries me sometimes. It kind of worries me because that's the kind of stuff that's going to get their play action to work really well.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
But how about you? What's something you didn't like?
Uh, I didn't like. Well, I like the production from our receivers, but at this point, I was somewhat worried about the receiver room. You're seeing decreased use from Ray, which I'm fine with, right? If you because you're getting
Yeah.
that production out of like Kyle Pitts now, or whoever. Um, but Mooney's been. I know he's coming back from injury. He just got hurt again. It looks like he's going to be back after the bye, so like not super worried there. But I wonder if we could maybe use some more firepower in the receivers room.
Yeah, me too. And it sucks because I know Mooney has more in him than we've seen this season. Obviously, like we saw a lot last season. To me, it looks like he hasn't been healthy. I think missing the preseason hurt him a lot because it just seems like he's not coming up with the balls that he should. I'm thinking back to that play where Michael Penix rolled out to his left, threw that insane sidearm essentially to him, and he kind of bobbled it on the sideline and went out and didn't bring it in. Again, great play from Penix. That's a highlight worthy play if Mooney brings that ball in. And then again, he went out of the game with a hamstring injury. So I'm hoping this bye week, I'm hoping they get him right because we're gonna need him, especially for a game like against the Bills. We're gonna need him, for sure. Ray's tough. I mean, to be honest, I'm glad that production is getting put more in the hands of Pitts and in Bijan's hand, especially in the passing game. And I wouldn't mind using Ray as a gadget player. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but I do want to see him shore up some of those drops. Because if I remember correctly, like the first pass play from this past game was a pass to him as a screen pass to try to get Michael Penix going, and he
Oh, the
dropped it.
drop. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and he dropped it.
Yeah. And one thing I liked, I'm gonna kind of switch it up from what you were doing. I like the
Okay.
defense.
Yeah.
I know T. Alford gets a lot of shit, but like he's doing fine. Like he really is. Um, you know, Debo Samuel could be a hard matchup. He's huge, and
Yeah.
he was just making like these really great catches on these really great passes. Like the coverage wasn't that bad. Um,
No.
and I know we gave up some points, to Mariota missing Terry McLaurin. I get it. You could argue that this is the worst game the defense has played, but like again, there was some like just really great plays Mariota was making. Um, and but the defense capitalized when they could. Um, if they ever got put bad in field positioning, I mean, think about the Penix interception. They held them to a field goal
Yeah.
there. That's all
Multiple
you can
times.
ask. They were holding them to field goals a lot of times when they got down into the red zone. Um, I could not be happier with the defense. I mean, obviously they could be better, but like versus expectations going in, I could
Yeah.
not be happier. I could
Yeah.
not be happier.
Yeah. Well said.
All right, let's move on to I think our favorite little segments: game of the game and the fame of the game, where we pick one player each for each of those, and just how about you go first?
Okay. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start with the shame of the game. Shame of the game for this game. I think it's tough. It was a very positive game. I and this is hard. I'm having to kind of grasp to come up with a shame of the game. Um, I guess Darnell Mooney. I would have
I
to give it
stole mine.
to. Oh man, but again, Darnell Mooney has been kind of underwhelming. Again, we can kind of chalk this up to maybe some injuries and missing the preseason. But again, like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if this continues, if they make a move for another wide receiver, just because we do need more juice in that passing game. But again, Mooney, again, we have some time and hopefully he can come back. It's a very light shame of the game. This isn't like past shame of the games where they deserve deep shame. And for fame of the game, I am going to give my fame of the game to Jalen Walker. He played a great
Mm.
game, great against the run. I saw he was our highest rated defender according to PFF. And so I'm excited. Again, I think, funny enough, I think him being the first out of our two first round picks, he is our more developmental first round pick, to whereas I think James Pierce is more NFL ready. When you have a smaller frame like Jalen Walker does, and when you have this kind of like unique skill set, he's going to take some time to kind of evolve into what he's ultimately going to be. But I think we saw some great flashes today, right? He was very disruptive, um, very involved, and I'm just excited to see how he improves his game from here on until the end of the season. But how about you? What's your shame of the game?
I mean, I can't think of anyone else besides Mooney.
Yeah,
I think that's just who it was. Just with those drops and just not being super productive. But like, and he missed a lot of the game. Like it's hard to pick somebody, but I'll just still go with him. For my fame, the obvious thing to do would be to just pick Bijan.
yeah.
Um, I was gonna go with Penix, but because of that interception, I won't. I'll go with Drake London.
Nice.
Yeah, he just, I mean, two really fantastic catches.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think of that third and like really long, or it was a second and long. It was after that trick play that got blown up. And you see Drake London just come into the middle of the field. Penix rifles it in there, and he just like picks up 19 yards.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then the one on the sideline where like I was amazed that he even caught it to pick up a first down on third down, and then obviously the bomb down the left sideline
Yeah.
was just amazing. Great passes by Penix too, but
Yeah,
still.
and not to mention, I mean, he had that awesome pass late in the game to where it was kind of the pass was low, and he made some great adjustments to hang on to that ball and get us
Mm-hmm.
that first down. That was,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I like that. That's a good fame.
Yeah, he came to play and it showed up. And then the touchdown, that touchdown drive, that first touchdown we got where he got it, he was just dominant that drive, just
Oh yeah,
dominant. Yeah.
that's a good route for him too. That's yeah, they like running that kind of
Mm-hmm.
short route. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, that would be my fame.
cool, cool, cool.
All right. We're on the bye week now. So what are your thoughts on the team going, at this point up to the bye, and what do you want to see them improve for the free week?
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, this has been about four different versions of the same team. First game against the Bucks, we saw a very defend defense dominant team that kind of struggled in the offense. The second week, we saw a really strong defensively dominant team, kind of less offensive. The third week, we saw whatever that was, and this game, we saw a very strong offensive team and a little bit of a toned down defense, albeit still good. So I think in all, if you had told me into the bye week this team would be 2-2, I would have been happy with it. Knowing what I know now, we could very well be 3-1, if not 4-0. Again, it's unfair to put those expectations onto a young team, but I think if I were to give a grade to this team up to the bye, I would give them a B, maybe a B minus just because of the Carolina game. But when bringing expectations and kind of realistic expectations into account, I think giving this team a B up to the bye is pretty fair. What I want to see is some consistency. I want to see them win games, not a game.
Mm-hmm.
I do not want to do this lose one, then win one, then lose one, then win one. I think if we want to make the playoffs, which I think is still the goal, I think is definitely still a goal for them, they're going to need to put up some consistency. And if I do want one specific aspect of the game to be improved, it's going to be the special teams.
Mm-hmm.
That again, the Washington Commanders are a very good punt return team, but just need better execution from the special teams, especially on the punt return, because we've seen multiple times that the other team has gone some very good punt returns against us. Luke McCaffrey had this really great run against us to where if they don't bring him down, if that last offender doesn't bring him down, he's running that in for a punt return touchdown. And it's unfair to the defense to put them in short fields like that. And with the way this team is structured, we can't really afford to give up special teams touchdowns. So Marquise Williams and that special team need to shore it up for sure. Hopefully that's an emphasis throughout the bye week. But how about you? What do you think about the Atlanta Falcons into week 5?
Yeah, you definitely touched on this, but it's just been an inconsistent team. And what I want them to improve is consistency. It's really that simple, We've seen a lot of good things. We've seen a lot of bad things. Can we just take all the good stuff and put it all together and start to string together some wins? Because, after you get out of the Buffalo and San Francisco game, things start to look a little bit easier. You still have some tough teams. I think the Patriots are a tough out. I think the Colts are too. But those are games I feel like we should win.
Yeah.
They're probably closer to coin tosses, but still, like, if you want to be a playoff team, those are the games you have to win.
Yeah,
Um,
gotta win those games. the I'm afraid of the Jets too, just because they have Justin Fields, and God knows, and we've improved against running quarterbacks. Um, Again, we got to capitalize against bad teams. Cannot give up. I don't think we can give up either of the games to the Saints. I definitely do not want this team to lose against the Panthers. I know that's all the way in week 18, I think, very late week, but we cannot let up those easier wins because, again, like you said, New England not a bad team, not a good team, but they're not a bad team. They're not a bad team at all. They can come. They can win against us.
Yeah.
Same. The Colts have proved to be a good team. Kind of what we went over in our first episode before the season started. We knew there was going to be at least one team that kind of raised expectations, and that team has turned out to be the Colts. But again, like you said, this team is going to have to improve. We also have the Rams, and the Rams are looking very scary. So yeah, this offense has got to continue at this pace, if not get better.
Yeah, I mean, like, if the offense from this past week shows up every week, and the defense continues to be maybe not even at this high of a level, but still at that league average to maybe above league average defense, because right now they're like second in defense or third, which is absolutely crazy. But anyway, if that shows up pretty much every week, yeah, we can win 10 games. Yeah, we can win 11 games. Like, for sure. And compete with the Bucks for this division. Man, there's a lot to love with this team. I just need to see it actually come to fruition.
Yeah. And it's a ride. I mean, it feels like Falcons seasons are always a ride. It feels like we're up for some ups, we're up for some downs. We've kind of seen that already. Literally, like weeks 2 and 3 were like the most extreme version of that you can ever think about ever. Just an extreme up and an extreme down. But I mean, Raheem's seat is hot. Whether everybody wants to admit it or not, his seat, especially after the Panthers game, I don't think it's cooled off. I think it's still very warm, and the expectation is still make the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's what is expected of this team, and I think they can do it. And if not, they need to be knocking on the door.
Yeah, and we can get some more into that next week.
Yeah,
we'll be playing the Bills, and that's going to be a really big test. Really, probably our biggest of the year. I think they're the best team in the NFL right now.
Yeah. I saw somewhere they're the worst rated rush defense though, so interesting to see how we play against that.
Yeah.
More about that coming soon.
We'll get into that later. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up for everything I had. And do you have any last thoughts?
Go Falcons. I mean, wow. Fun team, interesting team.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like meeting a new team every single week.
Yeah, you never know what you're gonna get, Forrest Gump style. Oh. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Yep.
Oh, thank you.